Good morning from Varadero. I'm in such a good day because I love going to the beach, and today is a beach day. Now, this doesn't really look like an all-inclusive, and that's because it's not. I'm actually staying in an Airbnb here, and today is all about showing you what it's like to stay in Varadero, have a beach holiday, when you're not staying in an all-inclusive. Maybe you're like me, you don't drink your whole weight in alcohol, or you came to Cuba to help the Cuban people, or you just want to see how they live. Airbnb, renting a Casa particular is a great way to do it, and also for Americans, it's pretty much the only way to do it because you're not supposed to stay in a state-owned hotel that includes the all-inclusives. It is also, I think, one of the best ways to do it. If you watched last week's video, my host, Omar, really embraces the true spirit of Airbnb sharing his life. He asked me if I wanted to go to the market with him. We did his weekly shopping. I saw the very local side of it, also the struggles, being on a fixed income in a country that has intense inflation right now. He took me to meet a 90-year-old woman who showed me her wedding pictures from 70 years ago, Cuba, as well as we had coffee and chatted. She sang for me. We went to a pharmacy, and then we also did something very Cuban. At the end of the day, we wait in line to get into a store so we could buy some eggs. So, I have spent so much time in Cuba. 2018 to 2020, I was actually based here. I only left because of the pandemic, and they told foreigners everybody had to leave. And 5 years later, I'm back, and I just feel like whenever you stay at a casa, it's just a totally different experience. You can stay at very high-end ones. You can also stay at more humble ones like I'm doing right now, and I'm loving it. You also can stay at casas, I should say. If you just want to be by yourself and rent a house and have your whole family in and have it be like a luxury option, that is also possible here in Cuba, and a lot of people don't know about it. Varadero is a all-inclusive destination, but it's also a town. Now, to be fair, most of the people that live here are related to tourism, and most of the workers at the all-inclusive resorts live in Matanzas or Cardenas, two cities that are close by that I hope I can feature because they're super interesting cities, but the weather has not been holding up right now. That is why I'm up early. Guys, let's go to the beach. This is the bus. They have a hop-on, hop-off bus that actually takes you all the way from the start of Varadero all the way to the end of the peninsula. So you can also decide if the weather holds up today. We are around here, and I want to take it to the end. The tricky thing is, I don't know if I can use Cuban pesos. Some businesses, if you're foreign, only take US dollars or euros. Some businesses take pesos. I have pesos on me, and if you use pesos, you save so much money. I will explain that later, but I've been traveling around Cuba now for the last just over 2 weeks, and I've saved so much money because I converted US dollars to pesos when I first got here. Let's see if any of these guys are open for breakfast. I wouldn't mind a little bite to eat. It is pretty early, but we'll see. I think this place is open. Let's start with breakfast because that's what people are most worried about. What a beautiful day. I hope it stays this way. Now, to be honest, breakfast in Cuba is pretty modest. I got a little bit of a cafe cubano, which is espresso coffee. It looks like they put a little bit of milk in it, and I'm gonna put in some sugar. Just straight up coffee with sugar is fantastic. I'm trying to avoid the morning light right now, but I'm not gonna complain because it's sunny out. Breakfast is here. Now, breakfast in Cuba tends to be quite simple. So it's often either a ham and cheese sandwich, or it'll be some bread. You might get an egg, some tortilla. And so I just asked them, can I get a fried egg and some bread? I actually wanted to turn it into a sandwich, and Cuban coffee, which is just an espresso, and I asked for some sugar. But you can also get it with milk. You can also get cappuccino or like a tall Americano. There's lots of different. This spot is right on the main drag in Varadero, and there are lots of places around here that you can eat. Of course, if you're on the main drag, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and if you go off into the other parts, it's a little bit less expensive, but I think actually this is very affordable. At the end of this meal, when I get my bill, I'm going to share it with you because when you pay in pesos cubano, it totally changes the price than if you paid it in US dollars or euro, so I'll explain why. Fantastic. I think this is just a little bit of honey. It's real honey. So good. All right, now it's time to go to the beach. But I do want to explain something to you. I paid $1.23 USD for that breakfast. They also have other things there. I saw they have guava juice, they've got omelets, they've got lots of things. That's a great little place. And so right now is actually an amazing time if you want a deal to come to Cuba, travel independently and pay pesos. Right now, officially, $1 is 125 Cuban pesos. That's the state rate. However, the actual street rate, the informal rate, the rate that everybody goes by fluctuates daily, but when I exchanged, it was $1 is 445 pesos. So instead of getting 125 pesos for my dollar, I was getting 445. I exchanged $600 and I'm not going to be able to spend all of it. I'm gonna have to have like a great meal over the next couple days, or a couple of great meals, buy some souvenirs. And that is because of this crazy inflation. So it's just a really great time to visit Cuba, to support people because tourism is down, but also get a really great deal. This is the local beach. It is a Sunday, and I have seen people already coming out. As you can see, great access. Now you can get access from any street. Oh my goodness, the water looks great today. Oh, this beach, it does not disappoint. $150 for the sombrilla or palapa and the bed, and that is for 1 hour. But they list all of the prices there. It's very fair. I'm gonna stay here for an hour. I would love to stay at the beach all day, but it's gonna rain and I wanna see some more things. So 1 hour is good to get some relaxing beach time, hit the water, and then go see what else is here in Varadero. Time to hit the water. I will give you a little tip. It is not easy to come to a beach alone. You cannot trust people. Right now, Cubans are really suffering, and there are so many honest people, but there are a few that are not. So you always have to keep kind of your eye on things when you go to the beach. And then also, what I do is I actually put all of my things in this little hip bag, and then I just kind of tie it around there. People could still take it, but basically what I do is I do that so that it takes people just a little bit longer. And also because I'm at the beach and I've got a camera and I'm a woman alone, I feel like more people have their eye on me and hopefully have their eye on the bag. My goal here is actually to encourage all of you to come here and to stay off resort, to support local people. That is how you help the economy, by supporting all these local businesses. I didn't mention also at the restaurant, Cubans tip. So in general, anything that has to do with restaurants and things like that, you would tip 10%. I tip 10% throughout Cuba. Let me show you this sand. Guys, it rained last night, so it's a little bit cool and a little bit wet, but that's actually quite nice because the sun is hot, but this sand is so fine, so beautiful. We've got some waves here from this cold front coming through, but still quite nice. And then you know what? Always just look back to make sure nobody's near your bag. Oh, the water is cold. It's too cold for Cubans to go in for sure. In general, Cubans only like to go in the beach in the summer. So you come here in July, August, it's like bath water. They are here. Right now, it is cold even for me. All of the beaches in Cuba are public. They belong to all of the people. If the weather holds up, I will take you down to the resort area because there's an easy way to get there. And in a lot of countries, they will have a saying that like all of the beaches are public. And when I say the beach, it's like, I think in Cuba the rule is it's the 10 meters from where the tide comes in. So 10 meters they get, or is it 10 feet? I'll check and put it right there. But all of it is public, so anyone can go on to the resort beaches. Now you can't use their chairs, you can't use their facilities, but if you want to lay a towel out, you can. And it will be difficult to judge today, but a lot of people say that down on the other end where the resorts are, that is where the beach is the most beautiful, the most clear. But with this cold front, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it's less rough down there, so I would like to kind of check it out. But you can come down here where you will see lots of Cubans visiting, or you can also go down there where you can hang out with other foreigners. Up to you. Cuba's kind of a place where you can do whatever you want. I want to give you a little bit of a tip. If you decide that you want to come here, do this. Or maybe you're even staying in an all-inclusive, but you just want to check out the local beaches. Cubans love to play music. They love to play it loud. I personally love it. I want to feel like I'm in Cuba. I want to be surrounded by Cubans. But they play it very loud. And say you're sitting next to one couple like I am playing music. If another group of people sit down, even though that they can hear their music, they will still play it. So sometimes like you're surrounded by music. I'm used to it. I love it. It reminds me of my time when my Cuban friends still lived here, and we used to go to the beach, listen to music, joke around, drink some rum, maybe some cervezas. It was just like great, simple times. But if you don't like that and you want a quiet time, make sure you get one of the chairs on the edge. It'll be much quieter for you. But really, you're missing out. That's like the all-inclusive vibe. Come down here and enjoy the local vibe. It just kind of adds to it. And then you discover a couple songs that after a while, you will realize that you love like modern Cuban music. It's not just salsa. There's lots of reparto, cubaton. It just reminds you of the beach. Reminds me of the beach. I could have stayed there forever, but it's time to move on. And the funny thing is, I thought it was two Cubans next to me, but actually the guy is from the States, and he's been here for 3 weeks, bought a house in Old Havana in partnership with a Cuban, because you cannot buy property here if you are foreign, which I think is actually fantastic and should be the same thing in all countries. Okay, guys, I want to find this hop on, hop off bus. Let's see if we can find it and they will accept Cuban pesos. Before we head out to all-inclusive land, we need to have lunch. Not just because I'm worried about the price being a little bit higher. I actually don't know if it's possible to eat out there. I'm at a spot called OMAR'S, and I have tried to eat here many times, but it's always full with Cubans. And so it's a little bit before lunch. I thought it would be a good time to go. And they've got some seafood. Actually, they have tons of, like, if you want to have ropa vieja, they've got shrimp, they've got fish. I got fish because I have found that in the past, everywhere I've gone, fish is always better than shrimp in Cuba. I don't know why, but it always is. So you can't go wrong with it, and you know it's going to be fresh. That was a bust. So when I took the Transfer hop on, hop off bus in Havana to go to the Playas del Este, the East Beaches, I could use pesos cubano, and actually you save money doing that. I tried to do it here and they would not allow it. She said only locals can do it because I think it's 600. I would have paid the equivalent. Or you can use a credit card, but you cannot use Cuban pesos here. So actually I have seen many electric taxis. I'm going to see how much it costs to go where I want to go, which is at the opposite end, because I want to pay in Cuban pesos. I have lots left and I'm leaving in 2 days.
So instead, I asked a tuk-tuk driver if he'd take me there, and he said it was way too far. But he dropped me off at a colectivo area, which is like a shared taxi for Cubans. He told them I lived in Havana and they gave me the local rate. Colectivos are great to save money, but you do need to wait for the entire car to be full before they will leave. And so I did have to wait a while, but I was just happy to go.
My favorite travel days are not when everything goes well. It's actually when I really have to rely on locals to help me out. And this has been a great day. I'm not at the beach yet, but basically what happened was I did not know how far I was. He dropped me right off at the Iberostar, and I just went to security and I said, hey, how do I get down to the beach? And they said, oh, just walk around the corner, walk to the end of the road, and you can get to the beach. Because as I said, all beaches in Cuba are public, so everyone can get there. In a lot of other countries, even Mexico, like Tulum, what the resorts do is they make it impossible for you to get down to the beach, but not in Cuba. I'm not gonna be able to use any of the amenities, but also that's all right. I came here for the beach. I didn't come out here for the lounger. And before we get there, I do not want to recommend this to people. So it cost me $500, which was less than the $5 or €5 to get the bus. But the bus is hop on, hop off. So that means I would have already had to ride back. I have to figure out how to get back after I'm at the beach. Now, I know I can probably get something, and I know that the fixed rate for the whole car is 3,000 pesos. Because of this informal rate is also not expensive, so worst case I can get that. But the only thing is, out here, because it's all tourists, most of these cars are the like shiny pink convertible cars. I got in Almendron, which is basically just one of the old cars. A lot of people might think that's a very romantic way to go, but not really. And they don't encourage foreigners to do this because it's not meant for foreigners. They want you to go on the bus. Wow, I don't know what to say, honestly. Okay. I have been to Varadero before in an all-inclusive. I stayed for a couple of nights. When I was on a journalist visa, the Cuba Tourism Board, National Tourism Board, invited me, and I stayed at an Iberostar, but not this one. And it was beautiful. Honestly, it was like all of the pictures show. Now, it did rain last night, and it was like crazy rain, even came into our Casa. And so I think it brought up a lot of this seaweed. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. But right here is one of the all-inclusives, and they haven't raked it up or anything. It is what it is. So there's a lot of seaweed, and because of that, there's a lot of seagulls. And there's no music. And man, I mean, I guess this is like the quiet beach, but just on this day, the town beach is better. And actually, I would say, compared to even Playa Ancon, the other beach is better. But I'm gonna say this is because of the part of the beach that we're at. I'm gonna take a walk down and around. Maybe we can see something better, because the last time I was here in Varadero, the beach was stunning. I don't expect that calm, like crystal clear water today because of the storm, but I hope it looks better, at least to the level of town. Let's go. I think this is where I'm going to settle down. It has natural shade. The sand is actually quite soft, and I think it'll be nice. When you're going to do this, you need to bring everything that you want to get, because nobody's selling food or drinks or anything, because these are all inclusives. And so this is nice. I'm by myself, nobody around me. I'm in my own shade. I brought my own water. I'm really glad that I bought that before I got here. This beach is really nice. I think where I was originally told to come, Playa Alameda, you can get down to the beach, but actually you need to come down the coast, at least if there's a storm. You can see this is absolutely beautiful water, and man-made shade with the mangroves, which is so nice. And now I just had this whole spot to myself. which actually is fantastic because it means I can film, I can leave my tripod out as I go into the water and I don't have to worry about things. Yeah, this is just great. There's so much more though I want to share with you from Varadero. It looks like the sun is staying out. So I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit, just relax, enjoy, and then I gotta find my way home. I hope this video has inspired you maybe to get off the resort, do things differently. A lot of people think that you need to take an all-inclusive because the flights and the accommodation are included, but actually, the reason I'm in Varadero is I'm flying back to Canada and it's a very cheap price, very, very cheap. So you can do it. You can DIY, you can help Cubans, support the local economy. If you want more Cuba tips, more about Varadero, right there's a QR code and it has all of the things that I haven't been able to share in my videos. This is the end of a series, I think 12 videos throughout Cuba. It has been an amazing time coming back after 5 years and I'm sad to leave. However, I'm going home for Christmas and in January I will be back with videos from Asia and Alan will be there. See you then.